Welcome to this explainer, everybody. Today, we are diving deep into how you can finally break through that frustrating intermediate plateau and start speaking Chinese like a true local. You know, if you've been just grinding away at grammar books, but you still feel, well, kind of like a robot when you actually try to talk to people, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to transform that passive knowledge into active, totally natural conversation. Let's get into it.
So, have you ever completely frozen up when ordering milk tea in China? It is incredibly common. You might know all the textbook vocabulary, right? But you still just freeze when a native speaker hits you with a rapid-fire question about your ice preferences. You know the words for milk and tea, but suddenly they're asking for your exact sugar percentage and ice level, and your mind just goes totally blank. No worries. Honestly, we have all been there.
Here's our agenda for today. First, the secret to natural Chinese. 2, mastering everyday scenarios. 3, navigating cultural nuances. 4, the 3-step method. And 5, overcoming fear of mistakes. I've also built a little training game right into this explainer to really lock these words into your memory as we go. Okay, Section 1, the secret to natural Chinese. Context over textbooks. We're going to see exactly why literal translations so often fail us out in the real world. Because language, it isn't just some math equation of words, you know? It's a living, breathing thing that is entirely driven by context. Think about literal meanings versus actual meanings. Take the phrase manzhou. If you only memorize literal definitions, hearing a street food vendor tell you to walk slowly as you leave is just going to leave you super confused. You'd probably be thinking, wait, are they telling me not to run? But manzhou actually means take care or safe travels. So let's practice our first phrase. I'm going to say it slowly, and I want you to repeat it out loud. Manzhou, manzhou, manzhou. To give you a simple sentence context for this, imagine you just grab your breakfast, wave goodbye, and the vendor smiles and says, manzhou. Now let's look at tone particles. It's fascinating how adding a tiny, seemingly meaningless particle at the very end of a phrase like you go just completely transforms the entire emotional vibe of the sentence. Chinese is highly musical and incredibly emotional. Adding ba makes it a suggestion, like you go. Adding ma makes it a soft persuasion, like won't you go? Adding ah shows surprise, oh, you're going. And ne turns it into a curious, questioning vibe. Are you going? These little particles, they are literally the secret sauce to sounding like a native. They give your sentences a natural rhythm instead of that robotic tone. Moving on to Section 2, mastering everyday scenarios from street stalls to the office. Let's dive right into some highly practical situations, starting with grabbing a drink with a friend. And remember, we're turning this into a mini game. I'm going to describe a scenario, give a short pause, and let you guess or learn the phrase. So when you're catching up at a milk tea shop, using these hyperbolic phrases makes you sound infinitely more authentic. Let's play. Look at the first one. Imagine a repeating clock. You want to say same old, same old. That phrase is lal yang zu. Okay, next up. Picture someone totally collapsed on their desk. This is a tough one, so let's repeat it 3 times slowly. Kwai lei sila, kwai lei sila, kwai lei sila. It literally translates to exhausted to death. Now imagine an energy battery charging up. You really need a coffee as a pick-me-up. What's the word? It's tisheng. And finally, picture a cup of milk tea with just 3 little ice cubes in it. The essential phrase here is xiaobing. Let's use it in a quick sentence. 我要xiaobing, which means I want less ice. Now, if you're out shopping, knowing how to ask to try something on or recognizing when a clerk calls a jacket versatile is absolutely going to help you navigate the store with so much more confidence. Let's test this again. Picture a plain white t-shirt that goes with literally any outfit you own. In Chinese, we'd say this is
百搭
it means it matches everything. And if you point over to a fitting room, you're going to ask if you can
试穿
try it on. You know, you don't always want to just say how there or a basic yes. Let's map out how to agree across different levels of commitment, from a casual nod to a really firm promise. If a friend suggests, say, a quick park trip, you can casually say, 行啊. It's light, it's very easygoing. But if they ask you to bring the snacks, you want to give a solid commitment, right? So you say, 没问题, absolutely no problem. All right, Section 3, navigating cultural nuances beyond the words. Because fluency really isn't just about the vocabulary you memorize, it's deeply tied to cultural nuances. And that brings us to the sometimes tricky concept of respect. Language is basically a mirror for how a society interacts. Take pronouns, for example. While it's not as super rigid as in some European languages, using the polite nin for elders, strangers, or bosses when you're unsure is always a really safe bet. That said, young people or friends will quickly tell you to just use the casual ni. Think of nin as creating this polite little buffer of space, while ni breaks down the walls and brings you closer together. Next is 不好意思. It literally translates to embarrassing, but it's used as a polite excuse me. I absolutely love this detail because starting a request with a slight apology is this wonderful cultural reflex that shows modesty and respect before you even ask your question. It's so vital for your vocabulary. Since the pronunciation can be a little bit tricky, let's practice it slowly 3 times. 不好意思,不好意思,不好意思. Here's a simple context sentence for you. You tap a stranger's shoulder and say, 不好意思, where is the subway? Works like an absolute charm. And here is a modern cultural rule that you absolutely must know. Chinese friends rarely give actual physical addresses to meet up. They'll just tell you they're going to drop a pin or send a location on their phone. If you try to recite a street number, you're going to sound like a walking textbook. Real life happens on the phone. The phrase is 发定位. For example, you text your friend and say, I'm at the mall, 发定位. Section 4, the 3-step method. Listen, shadow, use. So the crucial question is, how do we actually practice all of this without getting buried under a mountain of grammar books? Well, you need a system that mimics exactly how you learned your very first language. Enter the listen, shadow, use method. This is a brilliant, totally actionable learning loop that you can do literally anywhere. Yes, even sitting on the subway. First, you listen to passively absorb the context. Then, you shadow to physically train your mouth muscles. And finally, you use it, cementing it into your brain by actually texting or saying it to a real person. Let's talk about shadowing for a second. Shadowing trains your mouth and your brain to get used to the musical rhythm of the language, which is incredibly helpful for those tricky 4 tones. The mistake most people make is hearing a sentence, hitting pause, translating it in their head, and then speaking. Shadowing forces you to skip that mental translation. You just become an immediate echo of the speaker. Now, to get the absolute best source material for your shadowing, stick strictly to modern, urban, or family dramas with Chinese subtitles on. And always, always record your own voice to catch those tone mistakes you didn't even realize you were making. Seriously, watching historical dramas will have you speaking like a 14th century emperor at the local coffee shop. Nobody wants that. Stick to modern shows, listen, repeat, and record. Section 5, Overcoming Fear of Mistakes. Mindset is everything. Let's move into our final section, which is arguably the most important of all. Getting over that deep psychological fear of sounding foolish. You can have all the vocabulary in the entire world, but if anxiety locks your jaw, you are just not going to progress. Have you ever heard of circumlocution? If you forget the word for something like expecting, don't just freeze up and apologize. Just use circumlocution and say, I really want to go, using simpler words instead. This strategy is a massive breakthrough for intermediate learners to keep the conversation flowing. The Chinese term for this is 有会标的. Let's practice that together 3 times slowly because it really is a game changer. 有会标的, 有会标的, 有会标的. Just talk around the missing word. And hey, if you ever feel stuck, remember that the plateau phase, or Gao Yan Qi, is completely natural. It's just a normal stage where progress feels stalled. But when you aren't seeing daily leaps in your ability, your brain is actually incredibly busy wiring all these new sounds and patterns into your long-term memory. You really just have to trust the process. I love this quote. Language is for communication. If you succeed in communicating, you win. It perfectly captures our ultimate takeaway for today. Locals honestly do not care if your tones aren't 100% perfect. They care about connecting with you. If you order the milk tea and they hand you the milk tea, guess what? You won. Everything else is just fine-tuning. Language absolutely requires active use to come alive, so I challenge you. What is one real-world phrase you're going to try using today? Before we wrap up, it's time for our final Blitz quiz to see exactly what stuck in your memory. I'm going to give you a scenario and you tell me the Chinese phrase we just learned. Ready? First up, picture a shirt that matches with literally every pair of pants you own. What is it? 百搭. Second, you want your drink with very few ice cubes. You ask for 小冰. Third, you're meeting a friend and need them to drop a map pin on their phone. You say 发定位. And lastly, as you walk away from a little shop, the owner wishes you safe travels by saying 慢走. Listen, If you got even one of those right, you were already making incredible progress. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Embrace those mistakes, keep speaking, and ask yourself, what other hidden cultural secrets are just waiting to be unlocked once you finally put down the textbook?